live environment.
Yeah, this. Oh God.
Oh, this is great. I got my own little TV. This is perfect.
Yeah, I got it all.
Adam's doing a fantastic job so far. It's been really good.
So first of all, you're actually playing this right now.
Yeah. That's
right.
And I do want to emphasize how beautiful this game is.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, Brian, tell me a little bit about what you guys want to show us this evening.
So I think, the big thing is, again, I think that part of the Spider-Man fantasy is to swing around New York City and, to have, not only just a great story, but have a bunch of different activities in that world. And we wanted to, give people who attend E3 an opportunity to experience that. So, obviously it's a big narrative-driven experience, but at the same time, a part of that superhero fantasy, especially that Spider-Man experience, is living within New York City and seeing that. So, Adam is one of our combat pro players because he's a combat designer, and again, he's just showing off some really awesome stuff that as you get better with the game, obviously, we wanted to have a pick up and play feel, but at the same time, have a level of mastery and to really show off the improvisation that we've really been talking about a lot since we announced the game.
I'm digging this, like sticking dudes to walls and to the floor and stuff. That looks really satisfying.
I think the thing that's been really fun in these last, I would say last 6 months since we got back from the holiday break was every week I feel like I'll take the game home or I'll be playing one night and then I'll come in and say, wow, guys, I didn't know you could do that. So I think there's a lot of that, there's that sandbox nature to it as well. So, obviously you can, we have, we're going to teach you mechanics, but we want you to experiment with, his acrobatics, his webs, his gadgets, his suit powers. So combining all that stuff really allows for a lot of different gameplay and a lot of, Spider-Man's a very expressive character, and we want players to be able to express that, whether it's in traversal or in combat.
It's gorgeous.
These animations, these animations are just blowing my mind.
Your studio has kind of been renowned for character animation and for, just fluid motion. I mean, did you guys take a lot of lessons from your previous games and really like hone in on those when you were developing this?
I think animation's definitely been one of the hallmarks of our company, from Spyro to Ratchet to Sunset Overdrive.
Yep.
And I remember when the Sunset Overdrive reviews came out, one person actually wrote, it would be great to see Insomniac make a Spider-Man game. And I was like, see, we should make it.
See?
And I think
you waved your phone around to the whole studio.
Exactly. We took that kind of mentality and we just injected our personality, but also, what do people want, desire from a Spider-Man experience. So, it was really great as I remember probably around the end of the year, end of last year, someone wrote an article about the top things they want to see in Spider-Man. And they said they want it to feel like an Insomniac game. So I think that's the thing we've been really layering on in this last year is to have that, it feels like an Insomniac game as much as it does a Spider-Man game.
And I love this traversal, just the fluidity of just moving over great distances very quickly. It looks like a lot of fun just moving around, and that's when you know you've got a great game.
Okay, so so how I kind of said like experimenting, but like sometimes, game development, we're in meetings a lot, and then sometimes you just need to like take a break. And what I used to find myself doing was just swinging around New York City. It was almost like therapeutic. It's just kind of like when I play other games, I just walking or running or even taking a car. It feels so more natural now just to swing around like Spider-Man. So it's definitely one of those things that has that, again, just like combat, that pick and play feel, but we want players to have a level of mastery as they play and get
What
better.
was that? Hold on a second. That's very interesting what you're saying there.
So like I said, Adam showed off, I think he showed off the tripwire. It's basically a gadget that you can either attach to a piece of geometry and the enemies walk by, they'll get like grabbed and sucked back. But you can also attach it to an enemy, and if an enemy walks by, they kind of slam into each other.
That is amazing. This is so cool. What's this focus meter about?
So the focus meter is basically, there's kind of a risk reward. As you build focus, you can use it to heal.
Sid's having a religious
experience. It just looks incredible.
Okay, thank you. The team works really, really hard on it. Really, really hard.
Clearly.
And the idea is the focus is kind of a way to, it's a risk reward. Like I said, you can either heal yourself or you can kind of, if you fill up the bar a certain way, you can actually pull off a finishing move. So, as you play the game, you can kind of say, well, do I want to maybe heal myself real quick, or do I want to wait for that really extravagant move to kind of take the guy out instantly?
Got it.
Brian, a question for you is, obviously Spidey has, with his experience being under the mask for so many years now, in
8 years.
Story, 8 years, Thank you. You got to be precise.
I got it. One of the first questions I get is like, is it an origin story? I'm like, no. That was like after we decided that the webs were definitely attached to the buildings, we decided it's not going to be an origin story.
But you know, back to the combat. I mean, Spidey's experience. He has access to a lot of different techniques and technologies. How do you balance out his experience with the fact that you don't want to overwhelm a player with options, right? You want to make it approachable.
You know, I really that comes down to our combat team, our traversal team,
like
and
this guy
our
right
designers,
here.
like Adam, and really going, okay, you know, kind of handing that stuff out over the course of the game. You know, finding those right spots where you kind of, okay, we're going to teach you how to punch and how to kick and how to punch guys up in the air and use your webs. But then we layer on things like gadgets and then the suits and the suit powers. And it's kind of giving over time. If we just, you know, one thing with something like E3, you know, we want you to feel great, right? But there's
I mean, this is just, I mean, it was looking spectacular to begin with, but this is on a totally different level. And I can just see that
so much.
I can see that polish, though. That's the thing, and that's what comes out in that final few months of development.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys watched the press conference, right?
Sure.
You saw all those games, those first-party games, and they all have a level of polish. And to be in a press conference with the likes of a Naughty Dog, a Sucker Punch, Kojima Productions, we are very honored to be, and we know there's a certain level of polish that people expect from a PlayStation game, especially a first-party game. So we want to be considered right up there.
Well,
and not to mention also from the Marvel, you know, Marvel fans
course.
expect to have that perfect experience.
Of course.
May I just ask real quickly, you know, as we're starting to wind down here, from a personal perspective, I mean, what's it like for you and for the team to be able to kind of look up at the big screen and see your game after all that time, and all that work?
I'm known as a crier, so it takes a lot for me not to get choked up. Like right now, they're playing the theme song to the game in the background as we're sitting here, I mean, this is an amazing industry, and to be part of it is one thing, but to work on something you truly love is something that when you were a little kid thinking, oh my God, could I ever work on a Spider-Man game, let alone be in video games, is just absolutely surreal. I use that word a lot when I describe working on this game, and to work with a group like Sony and work with Marvel, and that feeling is felt by so many Insomniacs. So we couldn't be prouder, and the support we've gotten across the board, not only from Sony, Marvel, but also the fans, has been spectacular.
Nice work with
Brian, it just looks incredible. I mean, there's no other word for it. And
you're flabbergasted.
I really am. It's stunning. I mean, just look at that. How can you not be blown away by that? But we do have a limited amount of time here. Brian, you're an industry veteran. You've been in the industry.
But I can't reach them over radio. Their comms must be down. What's your status?
Already here.
Yuri? I thought you said it was secure.
It was. Let's go. Maybe it's not as bad as it looks.
Love the optimism. But in my experience, when it looks bad, it's usually worse. Look out! Yuri!
I'm slipping!
Gotcha. Hold on! You okay?
Yeah.
Welcome to the party! Just in time for the fireworks!
Looks like we made parole, boys.
I'm out!
Electro? Why is he letting everyone out?
I'll head for the main control center and see how bad the situation is.
Got it. I'll go join the party. Everyone just quietly go back into your cells and lock the door behind you. Okay? Please?
Fighter! Get him down here!
Like fish in a barrel.
Catastrophic event detected.
That doesn't sound good. Oh, hi, Rhino.
You like surprise, Spider? Ah!
Surprise? What is he talking about?
Hey, what's your status?
Me? Just trapped in a prison with every criminal I've put away in the last 8 years. No biggie.
Electro must be working for someone.
This is too good to be true.
Scorpion, can you hold on a minute? I was in the middle of a phone call and it was business.
Charge him! Don't let up!
Lost you for a second there. You okay?
Not really. Electro, Rhino, and now Scorpion are all on the loose. What's going on in the rest of the prison?
Camera system's almost up. I'll give you a sit rep soon.
Okay, I'll keep tracking Electro.
Come on, Spider-Man. I thought this was a chase.
Gotta stop this guy. If you tell me who you're working for, I'll go easy on you.
Can't stop it. But I'm flattered that you still try.
Nobody ever takes me up on that offer.
Gotcha. Vulture, what?
Long time no see. We're going to have so much fun.
Sorry, no time to talk.
Okay, I got the security cameras back online.
How's it look?
Well, it looks like the entire population of the raft has escaped. That makes 5 of your worst enemies that are now on the loose.
For a second there, I thought you were serious.
I am serious. I have to go. Some of them are heading into the city.
This is nuts.
Keep chasing. Party's almost over.
Electro, stop!
How do you like my new suit?
Dashing. Where'd you get it?
It's an exclusive club. Remember, he said not to kill him.
Good idea. In fact, we don't have to do this at all if you don't want to.
We definitely want to.
You? Feeling like a wardrobe change. Been there, worn that. Yes! Now that's a suit! Yeah, definitely a keeper.
units, 1010S at 36 and Park. Repeat, all units be advised. Shots fired at Fisk Towers.
Yuri, I'm here.
What do you see?
Find the rest. The boss wants them dead.
Looks like the demons are moving in on Fisk's territory.
You got this?
I got this.
Fisk's men have fled through the building. Eliminate them.
Should've worn a helmet.
You got what you came for. You don't need to kill us, too.
Fisk's territory is ours now.
Not today.
Spider-Man! Tell the boss is here!
Hey, Willie.
You.
Nice jumpsuit. Slimming.
Stay out of my business.
Wait, the demons. Who's their leader?
Keep my men alive and maybe I'll tell you.
Saving bad guys from other bad guys. Not how I thought today would go. Hey, big guy. Is that a Higgs field? That's actually really cool. Fisk, your men are safe. Your turn. Who runs the demons?
You're about to find out. Check the roof.
He's here? Martin Lee. Oh, come on. No, 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 no! Duh! Let's go, let's go! Did that just happen? Yeah.
I'm getting reports of a helicopter with a wrecking ball.
It's complicated. Turns out Martin Lee is running the demons.
The guy who runs the homeless shelter?
Like I said, complicated. Sit tight, Yuri. I got this. Please, let me got this.
That helicopter is destroying the city.
I know.
You need to bring it down.
I know.
Maybe you could superhero a little faster?
Working on it, Yuri. Too close. Okay, Lee, here I come! Hi, is this the flight to Newark? Why are you doing this?
Because no one else will! Ah!
Lee, this is crazy! This isn't you!
You don't know me!
Need a plan. Need a plan real fast. I guess this is the plan! Come on, Pete, you got this! You got this, you got this, you got this! Please don't screw this up! Mr. Lee? It's over. Come on, dude, let's go. Miles!
Let's start by talking about that amazing trailer gameplay demo, that really long video we saw last night.
That's a mission in the game. That's not a trailer. It's actual a segment of the game.
Yeah, so yeah, we saw a lot of crazy Spider-Man high-flying acrobatics. This was really the first time we saw an extended look at actual gameplay from Spider-Man since the big reveal last year.
Yep. I think we showed about like 90 seconds last year and about 8 minutes and 30 seconds, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. And one of the things I think is so interesting about what we're seeing here, and we're seeing it right now, I mean, this is a Peter Parker we don't see too often. This is a more experienced Peter Parker, kind of, you know, really powerful at the height of his powers. We're going to see some of that here in a second. But tell me a little bit about how you guys approach that, you know?
So I think one thing is we wanted to, you know, we wanted to create, first of all, we wanted to create our own Spider-Man universe. We didn't want to tie it to a particular movie or a particular comic series. You know, John and I talked a lot about, and the rest of Insomniac talked about, like, let's do our own thing. And Marvel totally embraced that. And it started with, you know, let's make him a little bit older. Let's put him, you know, 23 years old, just graduated college, and really at the height of his, you know, mastery of his powers. So, you know, when it comes to his combat or traversal or even his gadgets, because he's a smart kid at the same time, or smart young man at the time, right? And that all hopefully is represented throughout this demo.
Yeah, it really shows in the video that we saw and in the stuff that we're seeing on screen here. So many cool, like, acrobatic takedowns he's doing, zipping around, like stringing guys up with his webs. You know, it looks like you guys got that swinging mechanic, which is so hard to get right.
Critical, though.
It's hard.
Looks like you put a lot into that.
I think John and I talk a lot about, and obviously Rest of Insomniac, which I'm just going to say Insomniac because it's everybody, is we want, this is a fantasy fulfillment, right? We want to feel like Spider-Man, whether we're swinging through the city, fighting, or even the story that we're telling. We want to put you in the role of that character, so we just want to have that be expressed as best as humanly possible.
Yeah, this looks incredible. I was telling you guys earlier that I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and I feel like this game really kind of takes all of the different elements of Spider-Man, of Peter Parker, you know, the storytelling, his relationships, his, you know, snarkiness, and, you know, the one-liners and all that stuff.
Well, I'll let the lead writer talk about that.
Yeah, I feel like it really takes all that.
It's one of the challenges with working on a Spider-Man game is that he's got all these quips that, you know, he can do, and that's something that I think a lot of people expect. However, in a video game where you do a lot of things, you know, over and over again, you know, you don't want to have the same quips, you know. So that's a big challenge for our writing team, is making sure that you know, you get the feeling of Peter Parker and Spider-Man, but you don't get the repetition.
Yeah, I think it's, for us, is have him look at the situation he's in, that particular situation, and comment on that situation. Like, there's a reason why he says something about a Higgs field when he's fighting that big guy in the bridge.
Yeah.
You know, like, use the situation of what's happening to drive the humor rather than just, I'm just going to say one line for the sake of saying one line because...
Well, I love how he doesn't, like, get intimidated by it. He says, wow, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, remember, he's a smart guy. He sees that. It's impressive to him.
And it's about science, too.
And it's about science.
Part of his character.
Yeah.
You know, he sees this guy and he's like, oh, it's a Higgs boson. Wow.
I think the other thing for us is, like, outside of the humor, it's the relatability of the character. And there's that part, like, one of my favorite lines is the very end of the helicopter sequence. He's looking down the helicopter, go to first person, he goes, please don't screw this up.
Yeah.
So, like, even though, like,
because he's always thinking that.
Because I'm always thinking about the game, I'm like, oh, please, let's not screw this up. Please don't screw it up. Like, there's actually probably a line in every trailer that's about us as a team making sure we don't screw it up. Yeah, because I think it was like last time it was no pressure, right? I'm like, there's no pressure. And now it's like, don't screw this up. There's a level of that relatability that we want to come across, which I think what makes people like you love Spider-Man so much is that you can relate to him in some way, and we want to make sure that comes across in.
I've never met anyone else who can shoot webs out of his wrists.
Well, you know, he's a really smart guy. He just creates web shooters. So hopefully, you know, you can just make your own web shooter.
So, speaking of no pressure, this is an original story that you guys are putting together. This isn't based on a certain comic book arc. This isn't based on a movie. You guys are giving us your own take on Spider-Man. And John, you're the lead writer. No pressure, right?
Yeah, well, so there is a lot of pressure because it's a character that we all know and love, right? And you have to be able to give people what they want, you know, in being able to be Spider-Man. But you also want to have something new and fresh so that, you know, you're not just experiencing the same movie or the same comic, you know, storyline that you had before.
Yeah, two things really drive us, I think, on that element is, one, we, like you said, everybody knows Spider-Man, so we want to respect the tradition of the franchise. We want to stick to that DNA, but at the same time, we also want to surprise people.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, and you know, you get a hint of it in the demo, but as we get more into the story is this idea that the best stories when it comes to this character are when Peter's world and Spider-Man worlds collide.
Yeah.
And you saw some of that a little bit in the trailer where when he shows up at the top of that bridge, you know, that tower, he says Martin Lee. He doesn't say Mr. Negative, because for him, he's like, Martin Lee, I know that guy. He runs the fish shelter. my Aunt May, works at the feast shelter. So you're seeing that collision of his two worlds. And we feel like that's something that's driving us across the entire experience, and we'll make a great story at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's really the bedrock of the whole story is Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Make sure that we represent both.
I got to just remark on this incredible footage here. And I mean, just to clarify, this is an open world game.
Yes.
I mean, worth just confirming that for the record.
Yes, it is an open world. That is Peter Parker in the suit. So I just want to clarify based on a thing that happens at the end of the demo. That is Peter Parker. He actually says Pete in one line because I've memorized every line of dialogue, and when it plays, I can tell you what he's probably saying at this point. Yes, it is. You will have freedom to explore the city. It's big. For us, New York City is a character within itself, right? And we want to deliver on that fantasy, just like when it comes to traversal, comes to combat, comes to this human story. New York City is such identified with its character, and our artists, our designers, our world builders, everybody in Insomniac is making sure we deliver on that fantasy.
It's so cool. The artists have this map, this like really detailed map of every neighborhood in Manhattan, and they all have its own name, and it's really cool how the team is working.
I was playing the game, like just a little inside baseball. Like I was playing the game before the show because we had we're working on things.
Sure.
And this one thing I was playing, it makes you go around the city, and I was like, man, this city's big. Our character moves pretty fast, and he can, and for us, like, the way that we've designed the traversal, like, no obstacle is too big for him. Like, you can just constantly parkour your way through if you snap the line or something. And it just feels like a big place I want to explore, and we're definitely going to deliver on that.
A big city that looks really fun to explore because you're Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And it looks like you guys really nailed the swinging mechanics and the wall running and all that stuff.
Yeah, we definitely want a level of accessibility with like, hey, I want to feel like Spider-Man right away, but then there's that extra level of stuff that we're doing behind closed doors that like you can vary up how you get to that helicopter.
Oh, nice.
You saw certain people perch, you can just run up walls. That turn that he does around the corner, that's actually the character, the player saying, I'm going to run alongside this wall, and then I want to do a sharp turn. Just press right on the D-pad, and boom, he does that swing around.
Nice.
If he hadn't done that, he would just kept going down the other street.
I need to figure out where you guys are doing this, and I need to get in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a level of like, we want you to jump in and feel like Spider-Man, but then we want to have those levels of like, when I see like someone like Scott, one of our project managers.